for what it's worth, Donald Trump was right with Zelensky. I'm amazed at the amount of warmongers that are coming out of the woodwork and saying that the way Trump treated Zelensky was shocking. The way Zelensky behaved in that press conference, and I watched all the press conference, the whole thing, he was arrogant. To be honest with you, he looked like somebody that was on drugs. He looked like he was on coke or something. I mean, he was hyper, he was aggressive, he was rude, he was like someone that was entitled, like he deserved to be getting money from the United States, like he deserved to be getting support from the United States. And if you look at what Trump was trying to do and what J.D. Vance was trying to do, and you understand J.D. Vance is a very, very intelligent guy. J.D. Vance is a military veteran who's actually seen combat. And you've got this guy Zelensky, who's a failed actor, coming in and dictating to them what they should do, and also dictating that he really wants the war to continue. He wants to get his pound of flesh out of Putin and out of the Russians, which is absolutely crazy. Obviously, to me, Zelensky's a globalist puppet, and Trump and J.D. Vance are completely opposite. And was he put up to provoke Trump? Possibly, possibly not. We can get very conspiratorial about these things. But I think the truth is this, and it's very simple. Trump is for peace, and anybody that is wanting to arm Zelensky to the teeth to let him carry on slaughtering his own people in this completely senseless war with Russia is for war. What needs to happen is there needs to be a DMZ, there needs to be a demilitarized zone, there needs to be an immediate ceasefire, and there needs to be a peace process. Now, I've said time and time again that I do not in any way support Russia in this war. I want to see peace. I want to see a ceasefire, and I want to see the killing stop, and I want to see Ukrainian and Russian young men and women not being killed anymore. And also I want to see the whole world pulling back from the brink. I believe if Kamala Harris had got into power, we'd be in World War III now. And I think the European powers under Keir Starmer, I mean, I don't know what he's trying to do. We haven't got a military that's big enough to defend the UK, let alone go and fight in Ukraine. But that's another story. But I believe the warmongering people in the EU that want to keep this conflict going, they are still trying to push us towards World War III. Trump has been very, very clear. He's worried about nuclear weapons. He's worried about war with Russia. He's worried about Russia falling massively under the influence of China. And he wants to pull countries away from China as much as he possibly can. So Trump actually has a strategy. Trump has a plan. And as Elon Musk said, all Zelensky, it seems that Zelensky wants to do is keep pushing his own people into the meat grinder and getting the Americans, the British and the Europeans to pay for it. To me, that's unacceptable. And it's amazing now, you know, back in the 80s and in the 90s and in the early 2000s even, the left were very much anti-war. And then Blair came in. And Blair got addicted to war. He had a successful campaign in Sierra Leone. It was fairly successful what happened in Kosovo and the Balkans, in their terms, in the globalist terms. And Sierra Leone was actually successful. It did bring peace to that country. But then we had the disastrous war in Iraq, which I, at the time, supported. The disastrous campaign in Afghanistan. Total car crash. You can't democratize an Islamic State. That's what we've had for the past 30 years. 30 years of crazy forever wars. And Ukraine is just another manifestation of this. Russia is absolutely wrong, was wrong to invade Ukraine in 2022. I've no doubt about that whatsoever. But I'll tell you something else. Zelensky is wrong. When there's a chance of peace, and Trump would have a just and I believe a lasting peace, when there's a chance of peace, to allow Zelensky to dictate and to carry on getting his own people killed, and for the Russians as well. I mean, both of these sides need their heads banged together, and they need to be told, and I think that's what Trump's doing, they need to be told this needs to stop, and it needs to stop now. And the person that seems to be most receptive to that is that vile, disgusting warmonger Putin, and the man who seems to be least receptive is the vile, disgusting warmonger Zelensky. And these men are very happy to send their own men to the front line to die in a ditch. Well, to me, it needs to stop, and I think Trump is exactly right. He's enacting exactly the right policy, and all that's happening here is we're getting pushed further and further towards a third world war with what the Europeans are doing, what Keir Starmer's doing, and obviously what Zelensky's doing. Trump's right, the war needs to stop, and it needs to stop now. See you all soon.